The Dallas housing market has officially returned to pre-pandemic inventory, with current listings on market going past 37,000 for the first time since May of 2020. Inventory peaked in August of 2019 before the pandemic at 44,000 units, so we still have room for more inventory. However, interest rates and prices at that time were significantly lower than they are today. Now, I expect this increase in supply to put a strain on pricing growth here in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, and it looks like that may be bearing out in the data. Median home values for the month of May were at $386,000, which is up only 1.6% from this time last year. So last summer, we had prices flatline and then drop as we went into the summer months. It's going to be interesting to see if we have steady growth through August this year, or we have another weak selling season. For those who may be looking to sell, the good news is prices are still currently near all-time highs from during the pandemic, and this remains a great opportunity to liquidate some equity if you're in a position to do so. Now, like I do every month, I'm breaking down the data here in Dallas-Fort Worth by giving you an overview of this month's data, year-over-year changes in the market, and I'm providing some county-specific data on the 4 largest counties here in Dallas-Fort Worth. Now, when it comes to the basics, the median price home here in Dallas-Fort Worth was $386,000, which is up $6,000 from this time last year, with the average price being $497,000, which is up a whopping $31,000 from this time last year. Now, when we look at the days on market, we are down from last month to 24 days on market, but we are up 5 days from this time last year. On the bright side, the national average interest rate is down to 7.16% for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, which is more than half a percentage point down from last month. We're also at 6.52% for a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, which is also down just under a half percentage point. Now, when we look at this data further, sales are currently showing down for the month of May this year compared to last year. However, I must say that the April data was updated upward, with more sales being reported late, so this data might be a little bit incorrect. In April, we originally saw some significant underreporting of 1,630 home sales, and we also saw underreporting of new listings. Now, this change actually shows that April was a slightly hotter month than this time last year, so it's entirely possible that we will see some updates on our May data that shows the home sales up 1 to 2,000 more than what it's currently showing today. Right now, the data is showing that the trends continue though, with inventory continuing to rise, prices continue to grow, although slower than what we had been seeing in previous years, and the days on market are holding steady. Now, this is definitely a balanced market with a slight bend toward being a seller's market, if only due to a somewhat constrained inventory, which is quite amazing when you consider that interest rates are still at decade-plus highs. And the unfortunate news regarding interest rates is that they're likely going to remain high for an extended period of time. We don't know yet if we're going to see any relief later this year, but it continues to look less and less likely. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Collin, and I'm your local realtor here in Dallas-Fort Worth. And I'm here to be an asset to you for all things real estate in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Whether you need help with the purchase or sale of your home, you need contacts or advice for contractors, or if you just need a complimentary home valuation done to find out what your property may be worth so that you can weigh your options, please feel free to reach out to me day or night. If you would like a home valuation, you can find a link to request one in the description below, as well as all of my contact information, including a Calendly link to schedule a one-on-one meeting with me to discuss your situation and see how I can help you with real estate here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I love hearing from you guys and talking about real estate, so please don't hesitate to reach out. So getting back into the data, we have the year-over-year changes right here, looking back 12 months from May of 2024 and May 2023. Here in the Dallas housing market. In the last year, total sales are down 6.2% to 108,729 homes sold, with the volume down about $2 billion or 3.52%. Meanwhile, new listings are up 1.6% from this time last year, but inventory is up quite a lot at 14.8% year over year. Our month supply is also up 25% to 3.5 months of supply. And our sales to new listings ratio is now at 66.66%, which is down 5.5%, another signal that the movement of inventory is slowing on the market compared to last year. Now, our median priced home is actually flat from last year at $375,000. Now, remember, this is all looking back over the last year. So our median home values for the month of May was $386,000, but over the last 12 months, it was just $375,000. Now, we're seeing a slight trend up, but when you compare that to the last 24 months, our median price has been relatively flat. We continue to see a larger drop-off of sales of 1 to 3 bedroom homes over the last year, with 4+ bedrooms seeing a decline, but only slightly by comparison. Now, before I let you go, I want to show you the data of the 4 largest counties here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And you can see in Collin County, we had a 2.7% drop in the median price home from last year, and sales to new listings ratio is actually up this month from this time last year to 67.59%. Month supply has nearly doubled and is now at 3.5 months, with inventory at 4,240, which is up over 1,700 units from last year. Now in Denton County, prices are up 3.48% year over year, with sales to new listings ratios holding steady, despite units being up over 1,000 from this time last year. In Dallas County, we actually see a 4.6% rise in the median price home from this time last year, and Dallas County continues to be a real winner in this high interest rate environment, with the homes being more affordable and also conveniently located within the Metroplex. The median price home is now up to $387,000. Sales to new listings ratio has improved dramatically this month, being at 65%, but it's still down from this time last year. Inventory is also up nearly 2,000 units from last year. Finally, we have Tarrant County, and here prices are down 1.4% year over year, with sales to new listings ratio actually improving to 69%, being only a few percentage points below last year. I've been speaking about the current shift in the market for the last few months now, but I have to say that based on May's data, I am beginning to wonder if we will have any change going into the summer. The market's going to continue to remain as slow as it was last year, and it will continue to shift more into a balanced market as more and more inventory goes online. But homes are still selling, days on market will remain steady, and probably shift down into the summer as it does every year, with prices rising somewhat insignificantly, and I think that's the real story right now in the market. For the time being, I don't see any major pricing changes coming to the housing market either up or down, but we will continue to see very slow and steady growth upward. Now I want to talk directly to especially first-time home buyers that are thinking about getting into this market but maybe waiting for interest rates to change. If you wait until the interest rates drop, you're going to be entering the market at a time when essentially the dam is breaking. That means every buyer and seller will be signaled at that time to enter the market, and inventory is likely not going to have rebounded enough to accommodate all of that pent-up demand that we currently have. We have millions of people waiting on the sidelines right now. So I don't recommend that you ever buy anything that you can't afford, but if you're in a position to buy today and it's the right move for you now, it's not a bad time to buy. And it's a trope that realtors are saying right now is that you should date the rate and marry the house, but in some ways this is true. The reason I don't like using that expression is that it can be used to convince buyers to buy something that they can't afford, so you should always make sure that you're in a good position financially before you decide to move forward and buy a house. And that being said, as a buyer, you're also in a great negotiating position here in the market today, whether you're buying new build or pre-existing. Home prices are currently suppressed as a result of the interest rates being high, and you also have the ability to negotiate a lot of things that in a more seller's market you're not going to be able to do. When rates do come back down, even a few percentage points, you can then refinance your mortgage. In these markets, think that, oh, now's not the time to buy because rates are high and no one else is buying. But that's actually the best time to buy is when most people aren't buying. Once everyone else is buying, that's usually the worst time to buy because you're essentially competing with every other buyer out there to get the house that you want. Right now, you do actually have some options in your home search, and you can choose a home that's right for you rather than just taking the first one that someone actually accepts an offer for you. So imagine the other thing is if you wait, like let's say 3, 4, 5 years, every year the home values are going up 2 to 3%, and then when interest rates drop, they're probably going to go up 5 to 7% each year. So if you end up waiting even 2, 3, or 4 years for the rates to drop, you're going to have to spend an additional 6, 9, even up to 15% to buy the home that you want, instead of simply refinancing 2 to 4 years down the road and reducing your mortgage significantly on a more affordable house. So this also ties into those of you who might be looking at saving up for a 20% down payment. And there's a reason I don't recommend that you do this, because you'll end up losing a lot of equity while you're waiting to save up 20%. Now I also want to talk to you guys who are thinking of saving up a 20% down payment or are currently working on that. And I really don't recommend you do this unless you cannot afford the mortgage without that much down, because you're throwing money away while you wait. I have friends that I cautioned against doing this back in the 2018-2019 period who ended up saving through the COVID pandemic. And basically what ended up happening is they insist on saving that 20%, and then they were unable to ever buy a home. So they're still renting to this day because home prices doubled. Now we're probably not going to see that again, but the better sacrifice that you can make is, rather than do 20% down, is if you can, save up enough money to get into a home and then rent a room or two out, and you can vet the tenants very carefully, and by doing that you could be saving $600 to $800 per room that you rented out. So if you're able to rent 1 or 2 bedrooms, then you could save a large amount of money and pay off more of that mortgage if you wanted to, or just reduce your costs. And I know this isn't a great option for everyone, but imagine you just did that for 2 or 3 years while you're waiting for the rates to drop, and then you refinance and you stop renting. Now you own a home, you have some equity in the house, you have a great rate, and you have a good price, and you didn't feel the pressure in your bank account in the meantime. Now I really think the name of the game going forward as a first-time home buyer is going to make sacrifices like this. So you can either sacrifice by working overtime, you can have a second job, or you can just have very little expendable money for investing or for entertainment. Or you can go the option or the route of renting a room or 2 out of the house that you buy, and you can cut your mortgage in half. I personally did this strategy myself when I first became a homeowner, and it really does take a huge burden off of you financially, so I recommend it if you think you can handle it. Now, if you want to discuss how to go about it in a way that's safe, how to vet the tenants, and more, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always available. And if you're looking to buy or sell here in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, you can find all my contact information in the description below, and I'd love to represent you if you're in the market here in Dallas-Fort Worth. Now, I hope you found some of this information helpful, and I want to thank you for watching until the end. And if you are curious about which suburbs are growing the fastest here in Dallas-Fort Worth, please check out the video I made on the 5 fastest growing suburbs here in Dallas by clicking or tapping the screen above.